Good evening, everybody, and Happy New Year. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Keeping It Real with Shay. Wow, what a great kickoff to 2021. I am so excited for tonight's show. I'm just going to adjust here, guys. Sorry. Um, yeah, so as I was saying, welcome to my YouTube channel, Keeping It Real with Shay. If you guys aren't subscribed yet, please do subscribe. Smash that thumbs up button, comment, and subscribe. And upon subscribing, click the bell so that you can be notified of all of my upcoming vlogs and live shows. So, as I mentioned in my holiday greetings, I'm not too sure if you guys were watching or watched it, but I did mention that I was going to have a great start to today, to this year, with a great live interview. So, I really wanted to start 2021 with some positivity and just shed some light on mindfulness, on just basically things that we can do in order for us to make sure that we're starting the year off to a great start. And it all starts, of course, with our mind. And given the week that we've had with the things happening in the US, and I'm not even going to get into that because, as you guys know, this show isn't controversial. So I am sorry, guys. I'm just going to fix my camera here. So I'm going to leave it at that because it was a tough week. So I'm so glad that I am able to open this this weekend with such a great guest on Keeping It Real with Shay. But before that, I'm gonna just talk a little bit about why I chose this person, and you can already see his name and his face behind me. But it was kind of not an accident, but I had a student, actually a previous student of mine, a JDL alumni student, Monterey. So Monterey, if you're watching, thank you so much. This is all because of you, because you had posted one of Richard's posts, which I'm going to share with you guys before I bring him on Instagram. And it was one of those days where I was like, when you kind of, you're feeling down, the year's about to end, you're thinking about your goals for the new year, and then I see this, and it was about success, and I was so inspired by that. Just, I think it was like 50 seconds or 60 seconds or something like that. And I instantly followed him. And when I followed him, I remember sending him a DM. And when Richard comes on, he can confirm that. And I sent him a DM, and I'm like, I would love for you to be a guest on my show. If you're open to me interviewing you, that would be great. And I wanted him to be my first guest of the year, only because he will definitely inspire you with just words of wisdom, but these are things that we take for granted, and he's gonna talk about changing our mindset to set us up for success, both in our personal life and our business life. So I do hope we have some entrepreneurs watching today. And before my main event, and before I call Richard on, I do want to remind everybody that we do have a live chat box. So you do need to create a channel on YouTube. So you can easily do that with a Gmail account, and we can make this interactive. I do hope that the last 10 minutes of our show will be able to do some questions and answers with Richard. I met with him. We briefly did a get to know Zoom call last week, Monday, and what just that conversation alone was empowering already and so inspiring. So feel free to, during the show, and once he starts talking, feel free to write questions in the live chat box. And if you guys, want to say hi, please do make sure that you use the chat box as well so we can say hello. And I know that there are some people that are watching from Calgary, because Richard is from Calgary, Alberta, Richard and his wife, Clarissa. So thank you all. Thank you all. I'm going to say thank you now for joining me tonight and joining Richard and I, as we talk about mindset and we talk about how to set ourselves up to make sure that this year will be a better year than last year, and how we can be better versions of ourselves. Okay, so I want to just briefly, kind of tell you guys a little bit about Richard. So he and his wife are based in Calgary, Alberta, and they are pretty much, sorry, I'm just going through my notes here. Sorry, guys, but it is live, so I am keeping it real. So Richard has been leading and serving people in numerous organizations for over 14 years, along with his wife, Clarissa. Very beautiful, Clarissa. They are passionate about helping others reach their fullest potential. As a full-time financial advisor, Richard loves seeing individuals become financially healthy. And as a leader, he is passionate about raising up effective leaders who then impact the world around them. Wow, what a great, just a great way to really describe Richard as a person. And I'm gonna now share with you I'm gonna share with you guys the clip that made me follow Richard and inspired me. So before I bring him out, let me share with you. So just give me a second, guys. I'm going to share my screen now, and I hope you guys can hear it. Just give me 1 second. Could you guys hear it? I don't know. Let me try again. 1 second, guys. Sorry. Difficulties. Okay, guys, I don't know if we heard it. I'm just gonna confirm, actually. Hold on, okay. Let me, I'm gonna share it again, okay, because I need to. I just have to. So, this is why it's real, guys, okay? So give me 1 second. The success of others
will never take away from yours. If you ever found yourself comparing yourself to another person, if you saw that they're achieving more, getting more, having more, celebrating them will not take away from your own success. Instead, what it's going to do is it's going to tell the world, it's going to tell people that you are ready for your own success. The success of others never take away from yours. Instead of comparing yourself to other people based on what they have, look at yourself, look at what you're gifted in, and begin to appreciate that. That is the ultimate antidote to comparison. It is gratitude. Remember that.
Didn't share, huh? Okay, hold on. Sorry, guys.
The success of others will never take away from yours. If you've ever found yourself comparing yourself to another person, if you saw that they're achieving more, getting more, having more, celebrating them will not take away from your own success. Instead, what it's going to do is it's going to tell the world, it's going to tell people that you are ready for your own success. The success of others can never take away from yours. Instead of comparing yourself to other people based on what they have, look at yourself, look at what you're gifted in, and begin to appreciate that. That is the ultimate antidote to comparison. It is gratitude. Remember this. As you see people succeed, celebrate the heck out of them because it means that it's not long before your turn. And it also means you are ready for your own. The success of others will never take.
All right. So I'm sure you guys heard it that time, and you know, I can listen to that over and over and over again. So without further ado, please help me welcome Mr. Richard Sampang from Calgary, Alberta.
Hello.
Hey, Richard. I want to call you Rich. Is that okay?
You call me whatever you want. It's your channel. So.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much. Did you hear it actually?
I did. The second time we were able to hear it, so it was good.
Okay, good. Because I really wanted to make sure that everybody heard that. So yeah, so you know what? It was it's an honor. It's an honor that you agreed to be, my first guest on Keeping It Real with Shay for 2021. And it was your post. It was that one that got me. And I was, then I started, of course, scrolling, right? You start kind of sort of creeping, not really creeping, but you kind of go and you kind of, want to see what like you're all about and just, because I noticed that most of your posts are like that. Like they're inspiring. They're just the quotation, just everything that you say. Yeah. But before we get into the nitty gritty, how are you? How are things? Happy New Year!
Thank you so much. I'm super excited to be here. And likewise, Shay, it's an honor to be in your channel, to be here. So I just want to appreciate you and thank you for the good work that you're doing as well. I'm incredible. I'm excited to be here. And I think like we mentioned it during our conversation over Zoom is we have kindred spirits happening right now, like you and me. We have the same mindset when it comes to growth, when it comes to impacting people, helping people, even like just looking at the name of your channel, Keeping It Real with Shay, just having that like as the name of your channel really communicates authenticity. And so I'm really excited. I'm stoked actually. I've been looking forward to this all day, all week. So thank you for having me.
I was super nervous. And you know what the thing with me is, and as I was telling you, I host events and stuff, and everyone's like, yeah, you've been doing this for so many years, right? And I'm like, which is yes, but when I know that I'm actually, gonna be chatting with somebody, I don't know, it's just it's like I know I'm like, oh yeah, it's casual and stuff like that, but when you know that it's you're really going to touch and inspire people out there, you can't help but get a little bit nervous, which I'm sure you get to at some point. But
100%.
yeah, but once we're there and we're in our element and we're in the zone, we're like, we're good, right? Like right now, I'm okay. I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about yourself. I mean, tell our viewers, because of course, you know, I'm sure you have some people watching. So hello, of course, to you know, everybody in Calgary and around the globe, whoever's watching, of course, Toronto. But yes, tell us about yourself. I mean, you know, your background. I mean, of course, just the basics, and then we'll move on to you know, how you became where you are now. So go ahead.
Right. So I guess like just the basics, but I'll dip into this a little bit. My family, thanks to my parents, we came here in 2001. I was about 10 years old. So we've lived in Calgary ever since. I grew up here, went to junior high, high school, and even university here. And my training in post-secondary was in full-time ministry, actually. I went to Ambrose University. It is a Bible school here in Calgary, and I got my bachelor's degree there. And I specialize in youth ministry. And kind of my leadership journey and my growth journey really started there. A big part of my life now and my life as well in the past is my relationship with God. That's one of the things that I always come back to that really keep me grounded. But at the same time, it is in that relationship that really has opened up a lot of opportunity for me to serve and to discover what I'm passionate about. And one of the things that I've found to be very, very passionate about is really unlocking people's potential. Like if you get me to talk about unlocking people's potential, I can go on for days. Because just knowing that each and every individual is created uniquely by an incredible God, it blows me away that too many people are living under their potential. And growing up, I got bullied a little bit. And so I experienced that, being put down, my potential being put down, my potential being pushed in the corner. But as I grew up, as I matured, I realized that now that I've realized this, I've had some incredible people kind of come alongside of me and speak and guide me in my life. And I really appreciate all of them, the time that we've spent and grown together. I really found it as my mission to also lift other people up. You know, there's this cool passage in the scriptures where it says, freely you receive, now freely give. And that's kind of what I see when it comes to my mission. I love that you mentioned the posts that we have there. They're all kind of motivational, kind of inspirational and stuff like that. Because there was this quote I read many, many years ago before I went into full-time ministry. It said that whenever you talk, be mindful because you don't know if somebody out there is listening and something in them will activate because of one word or one line that you said. And that kind of brings me back to what you kind of mentioned there, that you were feeling down and then you just saw that video and it just really brought you up and lifted you up. So again, that's the honor in what we get to do, right? I know, Shay, you're a communicator as well. And so there's so much power in communication, and that's something that I know God has gifted me with, and I want to use it to just help people, lift people up, you know?
Yeah, you know what? It's true. Like we were talking about it just when we met on Monday, on last Monday, on how you really don't know what that person is going through, right? So there's so much actually that is going on in the world this week. But not only that, there was a post that a friend of mine, she actually works on City Line, and I do want to share like a clip of it later, but like near the end. But she talks about going through, you know, really figuring out who you're following, like when it comes to social media and detox. She even said she used the term, you know, we should be social distancing, but we should also social media distance as well. And I totally believe that. Like I was really this week, I was really, you know, getting ready for this show tonight, getting ready to chat with you. But at the same time, I was also trying to really find my purpose for this year. What is my purpose for this year, right? I mean, we all have a purpose in life, but I like to take it 1 year at a time, right? What is my purpose this year? And I was rewriting my goals, but just not career wise, but as a person.
Right.
And I came to the conclusion that, because I did try Sundays, I would do Sunday detox, social media detox.
Yeah.
So total no social media. And I found that it helped me with my mental health.
Wow.
And just the way my mind was so clear, and I was able to do so much more, right?
Yeah.
So I said, you know what, maybe I should try that again, but this time do a 30-day detox, or do like a week, whatever it is that you think you can handle, right? I mean, with how we use social media, though, like yourself, we use it to inspire, we use it to of course network, we use it to communicate with family, whatever it may be. But we also have to remember the other things that cloud our judgment too in social media, right? So she was talking about decluttering your followers, or who you're following, because it makes a big difference. And you know what? It is true. It's true. And that is my goal for Sunday, actually, is I'm going to declutter my my lists, my who I follow, because it does make a difference. Because then you'll look at like somebody's family, let's say, and you'll be like, oh, look at their family, right? And then you start to compare yourself, or you look at the successes of others, which is why that specific clip of yours resonated with me, because I was that person that would be like, oh my God, look at them. Like, why are they so successful and I'm not, right? But you're right. Their success is not our success, and our success individually could be a different success altogether. And we should celebrate the small wins and the big wins, and even if we have a trial, we should celebrate that too, because that teaches us, right? So we may fall sometimes, but it's how we respond to it and how we get up after, right? Because we always rise. If we really, it's a choice. It's a choice. Right? But what I wanted to know is how, well, you did touch a little bit about it, but did you like wake up one day and say, I want to start inspiring people? Like what was it? Was it an experience that you had that brought you to that, to want to help, to want to inspire?
Yeah. Before I answer that one, I love what you said there about like the comparison. And while you're talking, I'm just like, so many things are running through my mind. And one of the things that just popped up, you said there, like, it's so easy because of social media, right? My wife and I listen to a lot of success talks and podcasts because we want to fuel our minds with the right things. And one of the things that we were listening to, this lady, I just remember her saying that we were never meant to have or see or ingest and digest this much information all the time. Like if you think about it, right, it is from how many people wake up fresh in the morning. According to Les Brown, our mind is most receptive in the morning. But the first thing we look at is our social media feed, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, what happens is we see negative news, which, because negative news sells really well, what happens is the rest of our days are painted with negative emotions.
Yes. You know what? I agree.
And that's why it's so important in that first hour. I just want to throw it in there. That first hour, really do things that refuel you and bring you back to your center. Whether that's meditation, if you're a Christian, spending time in worship or spending time with God, and really taking time to just first feel what you feel, and then begin to take control of those thoughts, of those emotions, because most people have forgotten that we actually have control over our emotions. And so I'm thinking about what you were saying there, that Anybody. I believe like it's cool. The other day we saw Elon Musk become the richest person in the world, right? And my wife and I always kind of ask this, like, do you think that they still compare themselves to other people? And I think it's 100% they do, because it's just a human trait to, whether if it's not in the area of finances, it's with someone's family, it's someone's relationship, it's someone's shirt, for crying out loud. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I as well in that thought process that, you know, that saying, the grass is greener on the other side.
Yes.
And I love that Tony Robbins said the grass is not greener on the other side of the fence. The grass is greener wherever you water it.
Yes.
And so watering what you have, and that means being grateful and having that gratitude for what you have. What other people have, you just say, that's awesome. You can easily celebrate that, you know? So that's just a little tangent. I'm sorry. But yeah, we'll go back to your question there.
No, you know what? I'm glad you touched on that. See, you're like me. I like kind of, when I get on something, I'll just keep going.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to stop somewhere. But no, that is a good point, and that will. I'm gonna go back to that after you answer my question, because then that segues into what we, you know, what we're going to kind of talk about tonight. So go ahead with So I know you know, you talked about a little bit about what got you, but I always think, I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, because it probably didn't happen to you, or maybe did, but we find a change in ourselves.
Yeah.
When we experience a not so good situation or a challenge in our life.
Right.
So unless did something inspire you to want to inspire others, is my question in a shorter version.
All right, the shortest I can make it. Honestly, it is a combination of two factors in my life. And it really does boil down to that. The first one is that in my time in ministry, in working in the church, one of the things that God always I felt that God kind of spoke to me is that every person is uniquely made. And this, I'm saying it so briefly, but this is like years of serving people, years and years of just uplifting people, years and years of just speaking truth into people. And in my time there, one of the things that I noticed over and over again as I served people, I worked with people, it's just something that I remember when I was in grade 6, grade 9ers would come to me for advice. It's just something that I believe that has always been engraved in me, is to be able to kind of impart wisdom. Mm-hmm. And through the years, I've just chosen to sharpen that and kind of do it in a bigger scale and a greater scale. And so as I did that in ministry, in my growth, because it really started for me when I first stepped into leadership, which was when I was about 16 or 17. And it just kept happening where as I listened to people, I would hear these limiting beliefs. It's like, it's so clear to me. I can see it so clearly. And I kind of just word it and give them that advice in a way where they can see it for themselves as well. And as I saw this, as I did this year after year, I realized I love being able to connect with people in that way. And that's something that I kind of just discovered for myself. That's the first thing, I guess, when it comes to my relationship with God. That was that journey. It's so jam-packed. I can't really say it in just a few seconds or minutes. I wish I could. The second one was really that it was a combination of, I was bullied when I was growing up. I was bullied, and like you mentioned, that negative experience, like I think we have a decision every time we have a negative experience. We can respond to it in a negative way, which just creates a really bad situation, or we can respond to it in a holistic, positive, constructive way, you know? And so as I reflect on that journey in my life, I do a lot of reflection. I do a lot of meditation, especially in the morning, because I think like when we know what's happening inside of us, when we're aware of that, there's a lot of power in that. Tony Robbins says it, there's power in clarity. I do that as I reflect. I saw that these people that were bullying me in the past, they were hurt people hurting other people. And then from there, I just made a decision that, hey, you know what? If there are people who are hurt that are going to hurt other people, I'm going to be the opposite. I'm going to be one of those people who will encourage, lift people up. And so it was one of those moments where it happened like that, but at the same time, it was an ongoing process. And even now, it's still an ongoing process for me. I'm so sorry. I talked too much. Go ahead.
Oh my God, no, don't be sorry. You can just keep talking. No, but you know what? And that's where I wanted to get. It was that experience of being bullied and but look at you now. Like you're such an inspiration to the youth. Like thank you so much for sharing that because it really takes a lot to admit that. You know what I'm saying? You could hear me, right? Like,
yeah, loud and clear. I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is remarkable on how you tackle that, and it just goes by, you know, what we talked about before the show was it's how you really rise above all of the challenges and all the experiences, and it only makes you more stronger, right?
Yeah.
And you know, you talking about going back to the social media part of it, or when we were talking about social media and how, you know, when we first wake up in the morning, that's always, I mean, I'm sure it's everybody's thing is picking up their phone and just scrolling, right? I mean, I'm guilty of it, but I'm going to change that now because I after watching you know, my friend speak and after what you just said, it makes sense. It makes sense that the first thing you should do in the morning, and I used to do this too, and I just need to get back to it, is I used to just gratitude, right? Just appreciate and be thankful for everything, and then you go into either listening to a podcast, a motivational podcast, you know, you say a prayer, whatever it is that will get your mind set, ready. You like that segue?
That's a good
ready. Ready for the day, right? And it pretty much sets the mood for the rest of your week too. If you continue, and it's all about habit, right? It's all about habit, which brings us to the change in mindset. So guys, before we get into that, for all of our viewers, thank you so much for tuning in. For the ones that are just coming in, tonight on Keeping It Real with Shay, I have Richard Sampang from Calgary, Alberta. And he is, I like to call him a life and success coach. And he, you know, is spending, you know, time with us. And, you know, I'm so grateful. I just want to say hi to Miyaki Sensei. Hi, Miyaki. Thank you so much. Good morning. I think you're in Japan or Hong Kong. Can you just confirm that? But thank you so much for tuning in. Wow, that's amazing. Thank you. Oh, and Marfe Valenzuela. Hi, Auntie Marfe. Thank you so much for tuning in. But yes, we are going to talk about mindset, changing our mindset. And this will, you know, Richard's going to walk us through things that we can do to change our mindset to set us up for success in both our personal life and in our business. Okay, so Miyaki, Richard is from Oahu Gozamasu. His name is Oahu Gozamasu from Japan, or is he saying good morning from Japan? I don't even know. And he says, I love the idea, Shay. We need real talk in this flex culture.
Wow.
Yes, Miyaki, we are going to try and inspire you today. So just hang on, and thank you so much for tuning in all the way from Japan. Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Oh, he was greeting us good morning from Japan. Okay, so Miyaki, next time maybe I'll have you on the show and you could teach me how to say good morning properly. How's that? Okay, so mindset. So, you know, Richard, there's so many people out there, so many motivational speakers that talk about just the shift in your mindset could really change your life. Now, we hear that all the time. Okay, now whether we are going to apply it is always the biggest challenge.
Yeah.
So please share with us ways that we can change our mindset that will set us up for success in both our personal life and in our business life.
Right. I love that. That's you put it in the best way possible there, in the best terms possible there, because a lot of people say this statement, and it was actually corrected by a very brilliant life coach a number of years ago. They say that knowledge is power, but actually it's not. Applied knowledge is power.
Yes.
Because theory without practice is really nothing at all. Because if you don't practice it, it's not long before you lose the theory, right? Like, how many of us went through school and you remember math class in high school? A lot of those complicated equations that we used, we mastered, we learned.
Yes.
How many of us actually remember those? Very few, right?
Very, yes, very, very, very few.
Very, very few. Because depending on what field you go into, if it doesn't really involve higher level math, what happens is you never practice it. You have the knowledge, but it disappears just like that because we never put it to work. And that really does go back into when it comes to new knowledge that we have. When we have new knowledge, we have to use it almost instantly, almost right away. Tony Robbins says this. He says that we have to take massive action almost immediately, because if we say, actually, it's a lady named Mel Robbins as well. I kind of made a note here because I was just kind of brainstorming some ideas when it comes to mindset, and it really paints this idea, this principle, when it comes to really putting that into action, is that if there is something that you think you should do or you ought to do, count to 5, like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Count down from 5, and then right after, do it right away. And she calls it the 5-second rule. Do it right away, because if you don't, your mind is going to convince you of why you shouldn't do that, whether that's working out, that's saving, that's starting investing, making that phone call to reconcile with a relationship, or reaching out to somebody that you really care about but you haven't really connected with for a long time.
Yeah.
The longer we sit on an idea, the more that idea just spoils, and we will never connect with it again.
And that's true. And that's where procrastination comes in.
That's the one. Yeah.
Right? It's but that's so true. And you know, I was at the UPW with Tony Robbins. It was my first experience, and what an experience. Yeah. But yes, it's true though. If you don't jump on that,
right,
it'll never happen.
So true. So true.
Right. So continue. Go ahead.
Yeah, and the biggest thing there is, because it's easy to say, do it, just do it, just do it, just do it. But it's so easy to just quit, because what was it, like 80% of people that make New Year's resolution by February, they're done. Like, that's why there's so many gym memberships that are started in January but are never used again for months and years ahead. It was such a waste of money. But the biggest thing there too. Oh, go ahead. You're gonna say something.
No. Go ahead.
Okay. And the biggest thing about that is because before they took that step, they never really dug deep enough for something to move them. We call that our why, right? Or our purpose. And if our why is deep enough, we'll do just about anything.
Yes.
Yeah. I always kind of use this illustration when I'm coaching people. And I tell them that pretend like you're walking on a very familiar neighborhood and you see a house on fire and you see somebody there. It's a complete stranger. They're inside and they're asking for help. What would you do? I ask people that, and most of the time they'll be like, you know what? I'll call 911. But to be honest with you, I'll probably just keep walking. I'm not going to do anything beyond that. Although I am really rattled and worried, but I'm going to call 911 for sure. They tell me that, right?
Yeah.
And I ask them again. Okay. Now take that same path. You're walking, and the house that you saw burning, you see somebody you genuinely care about and you love by the window screaming for help. What are you going to do? And they always tell me 100% of the time, I will run in. And then
Of course.
Yeah, of course. Naturally, right? You have kids, right, Shay?
I do. Yeah, too.
Yeah, all reason goes out the window and we just go. We just take action.
Yeah.
You know, that's the same thing when it comes to those areas in our lives that we have to get going on. When it comes to our mindset, if we find a deep enough reason, a reason that is so deep that it literally, every time you read it, it almost makes you want to cry, there is very little that we would not be able to start doing. Like, for example, if somebody in here is listening to your channel, you have an incredible following here. If somebody out there is listening to me and you really want to get on when it comes to losing weight or your health or something like that, you have to get a deep enough reason for you to actually activate and do that, because sustainable, consistent action needs to be fueled by a deep enough reason, a deep enough purpose.
It's true.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like, I just want to touch on this big why, because I want to see your take on it. So when you know, they say if your why is not big, you need to know what your why is, and you were talking about, you know, the depth of your why.
Yeah.
So, you know, we always say, you know, our big why is our kids and or our family, or what is your definition of a big why? Like, what is it? Is it like as broad as my big why is, you know, is it what drives you? Is that your definition of your big why? Is the what drives you, what motivates you? Is that the big why? Or like, has anybody asked you, well, you know what, Richard, what do you mean by my big why?
To me, you really kind of explained it there quite well. That thing that drives you, that motivates you, that moves you instantly. Because if you say a why, a big why, and you're casually just saying it, to me, that's not your why. It might be kind of like the tip of the iceberg, but we got to dig deeper. And one of the ways that I define and really clarify what a big why is, it is that thing that you're willing to give your life for. It's that deep. Like, it's got to be that deep. Otherwise, if it doesn't move us emotionally, it will not move us physically. And so, yeah, really, that's just kind of like my definition of it. It is that thing that you're willing to, if worse come to worse, you are willing to give your life for. And personally, for me, I like to keep a copy of my why. And on the days where I don't really want to do the disciplines that are necessary to basically maintain a healthy lifestyle or a healthy mindset or healthy spirituality, I refer back to that, remind myself. And right after spending time reading that why, what I find is it really begins to activate me to move, to go, and to wake up and to get out of bed and stuff like that. So, yeah.
No, I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. You can hear me? You can hear me, right? Okay. Because I muted myself for a bit. No, I totally agree with you on that. Because if it's true, if your why is not deep enough, you're not going to do anything about it.
True. It's so true.
Right? Like, I don't know. Like, they were saying a lot of things. I was reading on social media about why write down resolutions? Like, why not just do it? Which is true, right?
Yeah.
And as I was writing my goals, that kind of came into play. Like, in my head, I was like, okay, I'm writing these goals, but am I actually gonna really do it? Like, and that's the thing, right? Let's write it down, because you should ink it for it to happen. But what are you gonna do, like, in order for you to get there? So let's talk now about that change in mindset. What kind of things, like, if there is even, but there's probably steps, or what can you suggest to people who are down right now? I mean, you know, it's the winter blues. We're still in this pandemic. What is it that we can do to change our mindset? To think positive all the time, to, like, you know, times are tough, things happen, challenges occur. How do you switch? Like, for you, like, even you as a person, nobody's perfect. People, you know, no one's life is perfect. We go into trials, but how do you maintain that, Richard? Especially when you inspire people you uplift, you coach. How do you yourself maintain your mindset to be as strong as it is?
Right, right. I love that question. And one of them that I share with people almost every single time is proximity has who you're surrounded with has so much power. If you're surrounded by 5 people, I heard this saying one time, if you're surrounded by 5 people, right, who are successful, you'll be the sixth. If you're surrounded by 5 millionaires, you'll be the sixth. If you're surrounded by people who have healthy relationship, you'll be the sixth, because there is power in proximity. That's one of the biggest things that when I reflect back in my journey, it is one of the biggest factors, the biggest principles, because we don't want to just find methods. We want to look at the principles, because principles are timeless. You could be living 500 years ago. You could be living today. It doesn't matter. It will still apply. It has a different expression, but essentially that core value in there is basically the same thing. And one of them is really who you surround yourself with, you become like, you reflect. And
Yes.
so I want to encourage people, like, if you have spent the last few months, even last year, if you spend most of your time with people who just talk about other people, talk about problems, talk about politics, talk about the weather, talk about sports, you got to get a better crowd. You got to start surrounding yourself with people who are hungrier, having more vision when it comes to life than just focusing on those things that we have no control over, really, for the most part, right? We have a little bit of influence, but we have to start focusing on those areas that we have a lot of influence in, because then we exercise that muscle, we strengthen it. And what happens is it's not long before we begin to expand our sphere of influence, which is absolutely incredible. So one of them, Shay, that I just want to share to your viewers and to anybody who's watching this is look around you. See who you're surrounded. What are their habits? How do they think? What do they talk about predominantly? There's this cool passage in the scriptures where it says, taste and see that the Lord is good. And how that works is once you've seen that he is really good, once you've tasted that, you just can't go back to like if you've tasted really good food, it's hard to go back to like really crappy kind of food.
Yeah.
And so the same thing kind of applies for me. One of the things that has really driven me and like really kept me motivated is I love watching successful people. I'm obsessed with them. I fanboy over successful people, because what I do is I analyze what they did well. What do they think about? How do they interact with people? Even like when they're talking over Zoom, before it was in person, but now over Zoom, how do they communicate? What comes out? What's the content of their mouth? Because whatever's coming out of their mouth is probably what they've been dwelling on. And so really that proximity, who you surround yourself with, that's one of the biggest things, because if you're surrounded by hungry people, man, you're going to be one hungry person. So that's just a little bit there, Jay. I don't know if that really satisfied your
No, that's great. And Mayaki was saying that's true, Richard. I agree with power of proximity, because I surround myself with influential people, financial, spiritual, emotion, until I became one of them. Now people come to me for the same idea. I became the sixth person. So he totally agrees. And in reality, I ended up with really old aunties and uncles as friends. Oh, that's so great, Mayaki. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for interacting. And that's so true, Richard. I think we were talking about it when we met before the show. It comes down to the people that you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
Right. And I found that when you do change who your circle is, everything should change around you. You're the same person, and I think I posted this on my Instagram this week, but I'm the same girl, I'm with the same name, but a totally different mindset. And you know what? It's true. You change your surroundings, everything else falls into place. But it comes with that shift in mindset.
100%, yeah.
But that shift in mindset is a choice.
Yeah.
Right?
Well said.
It's a choice. And if you don't, I remember, and this is actually, I don't know if Ate Martha is still watching, but it was her that told me that everything's a choice, Shane. Everything's a choice. Your choice to be happy, your choice to be sad, your choice to just not do anything, okay? Your choice to change. And it really is your choice to change, right? Yeah. So, and again, that brings us to the mindset. And Mayaki says you can read it, right? Richard, let's talk about negative people, toxic people. No, Mayaki, we're going to talk about positivity today. We're going to, but I guess what he's trying to say maybe is, how do we tackle those people? How do we tackle the negatives and the toxic? And I'll admit, I was one of those people, right? Yeah. Like there are times when I have to make that conscious effort myself to be like, oh, whoops, like, Shay, that's a negative thought, right? Sometimes it'll come out of my mouth before I could even stop myself. Because like, when you think out loud, and you just kind of like, again, it's a choice. And that's actually the last few days, I've been listening to a lot of mindfulness, a lot of like just power, like just empowering podcasts, just to get myself to really maintain that mental grit, to maintain the change of mindset, right? Yeah. And but yeah, like, how do you tackle? I mean, are there times when you have you come across negative people, I'm sure, and toxic people, but are there times when you find yourself maybe have a negative thought or
100%
some sort?
Yeah, I'm also human. My wife knows it too. There are moments.
I know you're human, but like, you know what I mean.
There are times where I just tell my wife, like, I'm just gonna rant. To be honest with you, I'm just gonna rant. I'm just gonna let this out. Okay, I totally 100% Miyaki. Like, I love your question there. Let's talk about negative people. But yeah, 100%. Sometimes I definitely have to just unleash, and I love that my wife has always been a support to me when it comes to that, because after 100%, I feel a lot better, because when we have this, what happens is, we were just listening to a podcast earlier, and when you put negative emotions in the back burner, it doesn't go away. It actually compounds.
It's true. No, you're right. I guess you should. Yeah.
And one thing that we were listening to that actually really helps is that we have to give ourselves permission to feel that emotion, because we're human. Human beings are emotional beings, right? We have a part in our brain that literally just spews out emotion, our amygdala. And so the big thing there is we got to give ourselves time to feel that, and then from there begin to interact with it in a positive way. So just like anybody else, I definitely have a lot of negative thoughts sometimes. You got your bad days 100%. But Miyaki, I love that you asked that, because I have a technique, and I'm going to teach you guys this technique. This technique will change your life.
Yay, awesome. Okay, so what is this technique again for the people that are watching? Mayaki just actually asked the question, how do you deal with toxic people? Okay, Mayaki's going to tell us.
Yeah, so the biggest thing before I share this is that this is a treat for everybody that's watching Keeping It Real with Shay. God bless you guys for being here. Your lives are never going to be the same, because Shay here is absolutely incredible. And so I just want to honor her. Make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you follow her. She brings out a lot of great content, and you're going to learn a lot from her. So make sure you guys follow her. Click that bell thingy. Okay, so I'm going to share with you how to deal with negative or toxic people in the most powerful, healthy way. And the way that I'm going to share with you is through a story. There was this one time, actually it happens a couple of times, but my wife knows it, it's really quite funny, is that I got this message one time on Instagram, posted something, and this person just said, I completely disagree, with passion. I completely disagree, just really looking for an argument,
Yeah.
And I thought about it for a second, and you know that feeling you get when your ears start to burn?
Yeah, and your heart, like, you get warm inside and you're like shaky.
Oh, Lord, help me, you get in that zone where you're like, I'm ready to throw down, okay?
Yeah.
And then what I did was exactly what I just kind of talked about there, was that I took a second and just started to reflect. And I realized that, and I learned this from my wife, is that we don't have to enter every conflict we are invited to. We don't have to go there. And so what I did was, thank you for your opinion. I really appreciate that perspective. Do you want to know what they what was their response? Nothing. How do you respond to that, right?
How do you respond to that?
It's hard to, it's a classic saying that don't fight fire with fire, fight fire with water.
Don't feed fire with fire. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I started to really use that in more areas. Whenever there's somebody that I'm coaching that they're saying something I completely disagree with, like I really, really do just disagree with it, I just kind of nod my head and I kind of just steer the conversation towards something different that we can have, kind of like a common ground that we can have. And what I find happens is we actually are able to be more productive with our conversation, but at the same time, this is it. You protect your emotions. You protect your mind. You protect your spirit. I saw this quote one time, Shay, where it said that, did you really have a bad day, or did you have a bad 5 minutes where, or maybe even less, that somebody just said something that impacted you negatively? Mm-hmm. It's not a bad day, it's just a bad moment. And it goes back to what you just said. It is a choice. The moment we realize that we have a choice, it is in our decision that we can either choose to ignite that flame of negativity and make it even bigger, turn it into a forest fire, or we can actually suffocate it by not participating in it. And I'll wrap it up with this. I'll pass it back to you. There's a proverb in Proverbs 26:4. It basically says this: don't argue with a fool, otherwise you'll become a fool yourself. That's pretty solid. And so I'm like, I don't want to be a fool. So I'll just be like, thank you for your opinion. I appreciate it. Now let's focus on vision. Let's focus on goals. Let's focus on things we can actually impact instead of having this nonsense argument, really.
Yeah. Wow. No, that is so powerful. It's true. We got to protect our emotions. We got to protect our mind and our spirit. So when we're faced with a negative or negativity or a toxic person, the best thing to do is kind of not tackle it, but kind of turn it around in a sense where you could either ignore it, right? Yeah. Which is probably sometimes better. Because
it's so hard though, eh? Ignoring it is so hard. It's like it eats at you and you have to actually deal with it.
The thing with me is I'm not genderalizing this, if that's even a word, but I'm I think some women I'll say, but we're obviously more emotional than men are. So when we're triggered, right? So now I'm going to try and practice, make a conscious effort. I'm going to make a choice to change the way, I deal with, negativity, right? Because, honestly, I did have, it's funny how you brought this up. I did have a message, a DM that came this week. To my Instagram, and it was a negative. It was very negative. It was a girl that I don't think I know, and she was just saying all these things you think you're so pretty, but you're not. It was pretty petty stuff. Yeah. But it was so the simplicity of the pettiness was triggered. It triggered me because. How dare you bully me based on things that you see on my Instagram? And if you look on my Instagram, none of it is negative. Yeah. Right? And you know what? I responded and then blocked. What I would normally do is go through her feed and see who we're friends with, is investigate a little bit more as to who this person is. But I was immersed in this podcast and I was already mentally positive that I just said, thank you so much for your opinion. I even said, I'm sorry you feel that way about me. I don't know you, but I'm sure you have better things to do than to bash me. You know, and I wish you all the success.
Yeah.
And I totally blocked her. I had to get it out, and that was it. I don't know who this person is, nor do I care, because that's obviously toxic. But it was this long, I was sore, long message about about like just like total pettiness. But it was, I don't even know this person,
Yeah.
right?
I just
So
want to share that with you, Shay. Like, I think honestly, it means you're doing something right. Like, just the fact that you're on someone's radar like that, it means that your reach is really expanding. And so, good job on blocking them and not really diving into that and causing yourself to get even more angry. I love that. That's fantastic. So, just want to share that with you. That don't let someone's inability to see your light dim it.
yeah. Because you know what, that's a big thing for me though.
Yeah.
And I know we're gonna go a little bit over time. Are you still okay?
100%. We can take it
Okay.
much as
Okay.
well.
It's just I don't want to just cut people in case there's people have questions. But I was that type of person, and I'm just slowly changed. Like it's a process. But I'm that type of person that used to take negative comments and really self-sabotage.
Right.
Like I was that person. So that's why this live chat we're doing, and just me interviewing you, or us having this chat is for me too, right? Like I bring people on that I know would inspire me to change first, and of course everybody else, right? Because it's got to start from you. So I learned so much, but yeah, it's now I know a better way to, but normally I would have lashed out till like I was red in the face, and just I would have reamed her until I couldn't ream her anymore. But I'm not all about that now. Like, what's the point? Like, you're wasting energy on somebody that doesn't even know you as a person, right? And you're going to come across people like that, well, especially when you're in social media or you're in media itself. But so thank you for that. I'm just going to share my Aki because he wrote quite a bit of things here. The thing about being the shining light of positivity is that you become a magnet for negative people. Keeping it real, they're actually friends. There are actually friends who need guidance and really come for advice. I hate assholes. Oh, that's a good word, Aki.
Good way to
wow, assholes. They ask you for advice and do the otherwise. Yes. Or the original self-destructive action. That's how negative some of my friends are. And then he says, Shay, the thing with social media is when we have a mission of possibility, they think our lives are perfect. So they pry on the petty stuff just to say something negative. I totally agree, Mayaki. It is so true. This person may have just been envious of whatever she saw on my Instagram, but you know what? It was, it kind of woke me up because I was like, wow, people are actually looking at my stuff. Like, I have over 3,000 posts on there. Go right ahead. but and that's okay, right? Like it took me a while to actually go public. I was private for a bit. But I was still getting negative comments, whether public or private, so it didn't matter. But we're gonna go through that. And today, I think tonight, Richard, you really touched on so many things, and I'm sure so many of us and everybody that is watching got a lot of tidbits from you. But if there's one thing, and guys, if you guys have questions, can you please use the live chat? Well, and then if I see anything that we can ask Richard, if you have questions for Richard or myself, probably Richard, go right ahead and use the live chat box. But Richard, before so we can close, I don't want to hold on to you any longer. But if there's one thing you want to say to take away for all of our viewers to take away tonight, what would it be?
Oh man, to just boil it down to one.
Well, not one thing, but if I guess a statement, not a statement, but if there's a piece of advice or something inspirational, of course, that you can tell our viewers, and of course, remember this is going to be on my YouTube channel forever. So it'll be, it'll be for the world to see. What is that one thing, or like one advice that you can give to set the stage for 2021 for everyone?
Thank you for the privilege, Shay. And when you put it that way, I'll share it this way, and I feel that it's my life's mission to really communicate this statement to people, is that you are meant for more. If there's one thing that I believe in, is that God does not create garbage. No, he creates beautiful things. And even if you don't believe that, that's okay. The fact is, you are here. And I just want to share with you that as you start 2021, be more, because you are more, because you are valuable. Everything about you is so unique. There has never been anyone exactly like you. And that means that you have a unique contribution to make in this world. Shay kind of mentioned it. All this crap and stuff that's happening in the world today. What if there is an impact that you can make? And sometimes it looks like one person. Just being able to be a blessing to them. Or other times it looks like a stage or a platform. Or sometimes it looks like running an organization. But the key thing is you have to activate. Everything that we do in life is always preparing us for the next level. And the only way that we're fully going to see what we're made to do, created to do, what we can potentially see happen in this life, is if you take action. And this is something that I always want to share with people, is that please, 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 please be hungry enough for your own potential. I have this weird habit during the summer. It's kind of hard now because there's snow, but there is actually a cemetery near our house. And every now and then I like to just kind of walk there and kind of see some of those stones, so tombstones and stuff. There's one there specifically. The first name is Richard. And I kind of just look at that and I tell myself that when the time comes and I pass on, stand before God, or I cease to live here on earth, would this fear that I am now facing, would I have been okay to just keep listening to this fear? Would I have been okay with settling for not becoming all that I can be? And I say that because I want to encourage you, please, you are meant for more. And if 2021 will be better, it will mean that you will have to grab a hold of who you can be and put in the work and action. Let that be one of your lives, because you are actually meant for more. So much so that you burn to do all the steps necessary in order for you to become all that you can be. So I can't see you, but I know that you can hear me. Whoever you are, if you're listening, you've been feeling it in your heart. I know you have. It's time to take action. Every step that you take, every discipline you create, every habit that you build, it is preparing you for that next level. Take a hold of it. Well, Happy New Year.
Wow, that was so amazing. How do I follow that? How do I close? That was like an amazing close, Richard. I got immersed in it. I had to snap back. It's my show. No, you know what? That will resonate, I'm sure, to a lot of people, and even going back and watching, this interview, because it's so hard for me to contain everything that you said. So I'm obviously going to rewatch it over and over. But it's true. You are meant for more. Oh, but like you said, thanks, Richard. I'm writing that down in big bold letters. You are meant for more. Yes, and it's true. We are all meant for more. So let's start. What a great way. Thank you so much, Richard, Rich, for inspiring all of our viewers tonight with how to change our mindset and set us up for success, both personal and of course business. there was so much I wanted to touch on still, and maybe we can, do another one of these if you're
Sure.
open to it.
Love to.
In the next quarter, maybe of just, look, we can tackle a different, topic.
100%.
But thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your, inspiration today or tonight. And I learned from you tonight, and I'm sure all of our viewers as well. Thank you so much, of course, to everybody who had, joined us tonight. I wish we were able to know who was watching, but I know, if they don't have a channel, I think they can't really connect with the chat box. But thank you to everybody. And Richard, I do have in my description your Instagram and your Facebook, but just for everybody who, maybe can't see it or can't access it, can you just share to everybody how they can contact you? And then I'll do the same. Go ahead.
You can find me on Instagram, richard.sampang. That's richard.sampang. You can find me on Facebook as well. It's just Richard Sampang. Send me a message. I also have TikTok, but I don't really run it. It's my wife that runs it. So what's my username for that? Richard Sampang. Amazing.
Oh my gosh, can we bring Clarissa? Clarissa, can you come on? Can you just... I just want to introduce you.
She'll go on the next one.
Oh, come on. Oh, we can see her anyways. Yeah, that would be good. But yeah, so Clarissa's, she's such a supporter of Richard, and I wish you a happy anniversary.
Thank you so much.
I know you guys are celebrating your anniversary. But I'm still, kind of mind blown by everything that we talked about tonight. But yes, so guys, if you want to connect with Richard, his contact information, like his social media platforms, are listed in my description of this video. So you just need to go down. But so it's for Instagram, it's richard.sampang, and then for Facebook, it's just Richard Sampang, right? And for those of you who want to know what my Instagram is, it's mzshay _lynn. And for Facebook, it's Shaylin Garcia. If you guys want to connect with me there. And yes, thank you so much, Richard, for your time. I know you're a busy person, and continue to inspire people, continue to uplift, and create a path for success, and build leaders such as yourself. And I wish you all the best in 2021, you and Clarissa. And I really do hope this is not the last. I really do hope that we will be able to chit chat again. And yes, any last words before we say bye?
Make sure you guys follow Shay. Incredible content, many more.
Yes.
Follow.
Those who aren't, thank you so much, Richard. For those who aren't subscribed yet to Keeping It Real with Shay, please do subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, comment on any of my videos. And if you like this one, please do smash that thumbs up button and comment on this one. And of course, subscribe. And upon subscribing, click that bell, that notification bell, so you'll be notified of when my next live chat session will be. So again, guys, I'm signing off. This is Shay with Richard Sampang from Calgary, Alberta. Keep it real out there, guys. Stay safe, take care, and we'll see you soon.